Guess the question is, where has he been for the past few months? Haven't been doing much YouTube. The answer is all sorts of stuff. I got some videos that are going to come up here soon. I have a bunch of content that needs to be edited. But the biggest thing I'm working on is what I'm going to bring to VCF Midwest this year, which is what you see in front of you here. The INITECH corporate WAN. Let's pretend as though Office Space was just part one. And after the Great Fire in the movie, well, let's call it the documentary film now, they had to go on with life after that. The idea being they probably had a disaster recovery thing, moved stuff around. There's a story to go with it. And ultimately, they decided they're going to pivot into the consumer space, and especially gaming online. Yes, it's 1999. What are you going to do but pivot into the internet? This new internet thing, all kinds of cool. What can we do? But where did this all start? Well, ignore my mess. Kind of all started with this. I inherited this Pix firewall last year at VCF, and after watching C-Lab Retro's video on how to make it run Windows 98, I put 98 on it. It works, it runs 98, you can play games, it's really kind of freaking cool. But then I thought, who would be stupid enough to do this? Well, the answer is INITECH. So that led me to, let's see what else I can do. I then acquired this wonderful compact Desk Pro with the Vocalist keyboard. And from there, I thought, all right, I built frame relay networks back then. That was quite popular back in the 90s. So let's expand this to the extreme. You know, anything worth doing is worth overdoing. So here is their corporate network. The idea is INITECH was owned by some parent company. Let's call them Parent Co. LLC. Don't know who it is. INITECH was a division of that, and Lumberg was the vice president of that. Well, Lumberg ended up at INITRODE. You know why. It didn't work out at INITECH. But now they're going to start rebuilding the network, and they're going to go with frame relay because that's kind of cool, and it was actually quite cost-effective back in the 90s. I built a couple, but that means you also got some legacy equipment over here, and then you got the new stuff you got to build, which, to be honest, people that are starting this, it's a scrappy little startup division, they're going to use whatever hardware they have left over, which is kind of what I assembled, and I'll kind of walk you through it here a little bit. So there's where it started. Yeah, it's a mess down here, by the way, so beware. Here's the start of the network. It's a 3640 as the headquarter router. It actually has 10 base 2 coming off of it to go over to a couple of deck VAC stations I have over good old coax thin net. And the 3640 then is sort of the main routing network out here with everything attached to it. I have to sort of muck around with switches and things, but this one is acting as the frame relay switch. So I am pretending this is AT&T in this case. And there are T1s going to each remote site. One of them is the headquarters right here. And this is going off to the other, these two are going off to the other locations. Right now, one of the locations remotes is sitting here while I build it. But that's the network. I'm going to have some AdTrans CSU DSUs with good old T1s, as well as some of the T1 CSU DSU WIC cards. But it'll be a mix of both. For servers then, what do we have? Well, number one, I got these two HP Net Server E50s. I figure corporate was a big Novell shop, so they are running NetWare 4.11, which we can, let's pop over here to the console. I think it's on number one. Yep. There is NetWare 4.11 NDS Directory Tree INITECH. So that's going to be the sort of file and print side of the house. These were a pain in the rear to get working. Real pain. So is NetWare. I have some content on that, and I'll eventually go through that on a video too. I got a resuscitated Optiplex here that I'm using this for sort of the core network to get things working until I get older boxes going, like IRCs running on there and stuff like that. And then I picked up this compact ML330, which is running Windows NT Server 4. It's turned off at the moment until I can move it. And that's going to be the primary domain controller for the INITECH NT4 domain. But one of the things I've been really trying to get going is what's going to be your typical branch office. And that's what this is right here. The whole thing is based around 1999, turn of the century is what I'm saying. So I picked up a couple of these compact AP550s. These are beefy, beefy machines. I really like these. Heck, I'd use these today, I think. Remote network is a 2600. I can't remember which one that is. And it has the IPX deck stack on it. I had to add memory to it so that router could run that software. Got a period correct 2900. Good old network book. So here is the remote site. Yellow cable is the T1 running around over to here to the frame relay, which then runs over to there. At some point, I'll publish configs for all this too. Way too much stuff to do, but little by little. And then over here, I got one of two Windows 98 machines. I figured if they're going to go into consumer gaming, you're going to have to test on something. And Windows 98 around that time was the best to test on for an end user. So we've got NetWare client. These are nice little machines. So these two are running Windows NT workstation, NT4 workstation. They are dual Pentium 3 733s with a gig of RAM. And I put SSD in there. I'm not going to use ID drives. Sorry, I hate them. So they are they're 250 gig SSDs, but I did the max of 128 gig using Partition Magic 4, which is freaking awesome. Love that product. I don't know why I didn't use it back in the day. Same sort of configuration over here, though. These are Pentium 2, like 233s. I got another one that I got to build up. And then the idea is at VCF at the table, you can walk up and, you can sit down and act like it's 1999. Chat, IRC. I got AIM working, so I have a local AIM server, a retro AIM server running on that Linux box. Microsoft Comic Chat works. I think I'll be able to get NetMeeting working. This is, of course, point-to-point local across the network. There's no internet. And I hope to have some remote access available using either some of the ATAs with dial-up or over the internet with a layer 2 bridge. A lot of stuff laying around. But that's kind of where I'm at right now. And it all started with this little Pix Firewall Windows 98 machine. Come to VCF Midwest this year. You'll get to sit down and play with all of it and pretend like you're doing a Y2K remediation. That's funny. I tried to come up with a way. Come on, gimbal. I got a new gimbal. It's kind of weird. Anyways, I tried to come up with a way to do some Y2K stuff to show what would have broken. Unfortunately, everything has been fixed. Nothing I have has old BIOS or old software in it, so I don't know how to show it. But there is the INITECH. Whoops, come on. Oh, that's how that works. Sorry. Bear with me. New gimbal. I can swing around. All right, I'm having fun now. That's it. That's kind of where it's at. If you got any questions, let me know. I will have a video coming with some configs and postings and where you can follow this on a blog. Anyways, laters.